Welcome back, everybody. Let's do some drawing. So, hope everyone's really well, and yeah, I hope you're all doing well. I just said that. It's been a little while, so I'm gonna see if I can get back into the doodling mode. But yeah, I just wanted to draw a couple of little mini characters just to warm up. It's been ages since I've drawn anything for the board game, so apologies for the big stops in between the videos. Get back into it, just busy with doing all these little things in life. I'm clearing my throat. Right, this one is going to be like that. So yeah, I just thought I'd do a couple of little quick sketches of different characters, just ideas, mostly like little wanderer characters, and see how they go. And this one will have stuff on his back like that. Yeah, I hope you're all doing well. And we've got your cups of tea. I've got mine, which is actually a good temperature for once, rather than stone cold at this point by the time I've actually got everything ready to do a little bit of a drawing. And yeah, so that's positive. This one's kind of like a Vigo character, one of those three-armed weird creatures. And little hands. These little bags at the back. And then we'll do another one here. Imagine this one will be doing. This one could be working on the half ship itself. So I draw like a big mechanical doodah. Yeah, something like that. We're not going to worry too much about getting things perfect, just having a bit of fun. Looks like he's working on one of the legs or something. Do a couple of little mechanical eyes, and yeah, that'd be cool. And then there's little cables coming up to the other parts of the half ship. The engineers are mostly mechanical, though of late I've been thinking of a few ideas around the half ship and its role within the game, and yeah, it's all exciting, but all very slow process. Cool. And then we'll do one more character here. We'll do one that's got some sort of druidic abilities and nice little mask. So all the cable cloaks just kind of whipping back in the wind. And this is going to be raising some plant life like that. We won't do all of it because I don't want the image to kind of be too complicated to see what's going on. And then this one, I really want to just draw a more of a detailed version of what the masks look like, because it'd be nice to have that as sort of a reference for myself, actually. So like that, and little mask. Yeah, cool. I'm gonna put one of those little antennae things here. Yeah, so as we're doodling, as we're doing those, we can kind of talk about a few ideas I had. So I've been wondering about the half ship itself, and apologise if this is your first time here. Welcome, by the way. If you're thinking, what's you rambling on about? Well, making a little board game, very slowly, and sort of going back and forth for a few ideas before really getting stuck in there because I don't want to start and then have to restart and all that malarkey. And the half ship is sort of the safe space, your home, your settlement. But I've been wondering if it wasn't a safe place and you working there was not really your decision, and you were sent off to find meat and resources, wood for the warmth and things like that against your will. I had an idea that if you, instead of like a mechanical half ship, you could have some sort of monster itself. And there is monsters in this world, and I wonder if that would be quite a cool little concept, you know. So you have your sort of your home, or rather this large entity that has promised you sanctuary and safety, but you have to serve it. I wonder if the idea of the game could be you serve it as long as you need to gain strong enough to fight back. And lately that's where my mind's been, and I really like that idea. You know, you're sort of fighting against your home in a weird way. You know, I don't know, I'm going back and forth with this idea, and I really like it, but I haven't quite figured that one out yet. But no, it was just something that came into mind, and really liked it. What was this one? This one's going to be more of a little breathing apparatus here. Some little mechanical eyes. And instead of a hood, what we do is we do lots of little mechanical bits into a larger breathing apparatus here. I do some straps for it here and there. And lots of little pipes and tubes and things like that. Like this, and we do these little antennae also because it looks cool. And we'll do more of a shawl for this one, I think. Yeah, cool. So anyway, hope you're all doing really well. And if you're an old friend of the channel, welcome back. Apologies, I've been away for so long. I think it's been about 10 days since we did a video or something like that. Just been so busy with work, and even though I'm doing a few little doodles outside of the channel, I haven't really done anything, so it's nice to come back and do something. And there's a little hand, a little glove. Do some little wraps all the way up his arms. You know, it might be cold. Like that. Nice. I'm going to do some little bags on his side, or her side, or their side. I do some more little cables and things of that nature. And this one I do almost like kind of rips off, which is kind of cool. And then, so where's his legs would be? Sort of a knee pad here, little foot, and we'll do some little straps and all sorts of little janky bits. Yeah, I just thought it'd be cool to actually get back into the flow of the sort of world by just drawing a mass of little characters doing their thing. That's sort of where I'm at. And this one was going to have his stuff up here, wasn't he? And this one's going to be more mechanical, so instead of weapons, he's going to have sort of tools, probably for fixing the half ship. And do a little strap down here, a little breathing thing, so a little tube there. And we'll do his little breathing tubes coming this way. This one's one of those nasty Vigo-like characters. I think they're more like watchers in the world rather than anyone that actually wants anything better for it. They kind of just want to watch the world burn. They're a strange race of creature. Ugh. They've always got these like sort of 3 arms and slightly elongated wrists and bits, and they have little charms, little bracelets and bones and all that macabre, wonderful stuff. Sort of like perched. Do a couple of little bracelets. Then we'll do it so you can't actually see his face. The cloak is hiding enough of it. Cool, right. Okay, I'm getting back into it. I'm getting back there. We got this. Little leg. So these ones we've done before in the past. They're very much the ones that have the little homunculi, the little people that help them do naughty stuff, and as well as some useful stuff, but primarily for naughty reasons, attacking other players and causing mischief. And one of the ideas for them is you have to sort of negate the problems that occurs with them. Even though they're a really particularly useful character type to use or play with in the game, they have a lot of disadvantages, such as the homunculi will actually do their own thing, whether you want them to or not. That's what makes up for the extra help that they give, if that makes sense. And sort of a little raggy bit at the end, like that. There we go. Raggy, I don't think that's a word, is it? Raggy. Ragified. Ragifier. Cool. Ooh, right, we're getting there. This one we'll do. This one's sort of working on the ship itself. We'll do this one a little bit bigger so we can see a little bit easier. A little mask. Yeah, so this idea I've been having for the half ship itself, there's something about it I really love, and it sort of makes the game a little bit more simplified, but I don't think that's a bad thing. When you have lots of ideas, I find sometimes it's best just to stick with something really simple and let that one sort of feed into the rest of the idea. Does that make sense? Or the overall idea of it all. I think when you have so many ideas coming into one, it's sort of break down the one idea that sort of the basis of everything and go from there. I mean, I think that's good advice. Wish I could take that. Wish I could take my own advice on this one. I'm going to be honest, after about 15 minutes I'll be playing with something else doing this. Right, so there's little tubes, there's his little coat, like that. He's showing off the guns today, it's not even wrapped. And then we'll do the little pipes. Yeah, so if the idea was, if the half ship was the enemy, I guess there's a couple of things I need to change. One, I guess if it was organic, if it was a creature like a fallen, like a god or something like that, I suppose you wouldn't have rooms that you would upgrade, which I love the idea, but trying to mechanically make that so everything's balanced, and I don't want anyone sort of breaking the game immediately and be like, oh, if you build this room first and then this room second and then do this scenario, you'll get a huge jump forward. I really don't want to do that. I'm certainly not smart enough to outthink every single player. It's just not possible. So have to think of something. But yeah, if it was an organic thing like a god or something, and you got sort of safety in its in its area, hiding underneath it sort of thing, as if float or crawl or something like that, which I think is quite a cool idea. And then you know, the game would be more linear. You know, it would be like, I want you to go do this and this and this, or maybe you just have like an objectives list, and every single day you have to meet an objective. So you have a little bit of choice in it. So you're not stuck doing stuff you really don't want to do, or you feel like it's just not possible on the first day. And then from that, you can get strong enough by doing, you know, what you're being asked to, and get experience as well. And maybe you'll meet other wanderers in the world, and you'll get more abilities, more weapons, more materials to build armor and things like that. That's an idea. And then as soon as you're sort of ready to go, you can have a go at the god or the monster or whatever it may be. And if you win the game. And if you lose, well, that's that really. And I suppose if you had like a time, you can make it more difficult for yourself. So you could have I think difficulty be easy enough to sort of balance. You could have less days to complete that. Or if you want a little bit more of a chilled one, you could have more days. Don't know. Could be simple. Like, you know, I need you to, like the monster or the god or whatever you want to call it, say things such as, like, I need you to get this much meat today. And you could have varying levels of success. So if you just got the minimum amount, you wouldn't get much in terms of rewards. But if you really stretch yourself thin for that particular mission, you could sort of know, right, I'll do this mission as well as I can, and then I'll do an easier mission tomorrow. But you get more a special ability or a special effigy or something specific for doing that mission. I don't know, I'm just kind of riffing as we go along here. But yeah, that would be kind of cool to try. Have a little play around with that and see if it feels right. Problem is, we got so many scenarios and so many story. We have so many story that it feels like a waste. But there's no reason why, if we don't release this game as a print to play or even do a Kickstarter maybe one day, who knows. We could always release, like, I don't know what type of bird that is, but they're doing its best to break my flow of concentration. You little blighter. But yeah, who knows? Maybe we can always use like packs or like, I'm trying to think of the word for like booster packs almost, but not random. I think that'd be a pain in the ass because you might get the same scenario twice or the same effigy twice or something. Don't know. Not like a collection game, is it? It's a story-based scenario one. Oh, actually, I've got a bit of an update. So I've spent the best part of a few years trying to imagine the world, and we've gone back and forth in sort of what we want from the world itself. You know, what was it? What do we want it to look like and feel like? And strangely enough, we've gone in full circle, and we've come back to, what do we make it kind of like a weird alter reality of England. You know, Scotland, got lovely moors, we got really creepy, wonderful fields, especially when it's misty, and you know, I think there's lots there to play with. And I've always been trying to think of like my own little world, my own little place, and I thought, oh, why? I'm more of a character kind of artist, and you know, I can imagine like abilities and things like that rather than world building. I find that stuff very, very difficult, and that's just I think people that can imagine world building in such depth, that's just magic, I think. So if any of you are like that watching this video, I am inordinately jealous of your ability. Right. Yes, it's cool. Go there all. Shaking the desk. Sorry about that. Cool. And we've added enough little details to that bit, and then we'll sort of have it wrapping back around here, going that way a little bit, and sort of like that. Again, we're going for sketchy today. Sketchy is good. We want sketchiness. Cool. Hang on, let me just do engineer. Working on the HS. Half ship. So I need that a little bit of a port of call for myself, really, more than anything. And then we'll do a cable coming off this way. Cool. Cool. Nice. Keep shaking the table. Right, I need some tea. Cheers, everyone. I did my best not to slurp. I think in one of my previous videos I actually heard myself slurp and I thought, ugh, gross. Right. So I need to stop drawing this now because I'm just enjoying little patterns and filling space at this point. Okay, and yeah, that'll be fine. It carries on, doesn't it? Right, we're in focus. I think so. Right, and then this one was going to be more of a detailed look at the mask itself, or rather the masks. I love the idea of masks. One, because they look cool, and you can build them, and different masks will offer different things, and you can build your character around the equipment you use and things like that. But also, it's really hard for me to draw faces sometimes, so I like the idea of having sort of a get out of jail free card sort of thing on that. Okay. Cool. And lovely. So yeah, nice little hood, some little mechanical instrument coming out the side. And I guess that's another thing for this, less mechanicalized version of the game where you would have a sort of a monster you're looking after, or rather in debt to. You could have more of a 18th century sort of feel to the characters, and maybe more of like a Bloodborne-ish kind of look. Using whatever weapons you would find in an old rusted shed. Scythes, sickles, saws. What else could you have? Hammers. I suppose there would even be guns, but I don't really like the idea of long-range abilities too much, rather than using magic and things like that. I don't want it to be a shooty game, rather it be a game that kind of feels on its own, Try and have a little bit of uniqueness to it. Cool. And then this one, I forgot, what's this one doing? Oh yeah, they're like sort of doing witchery to bring the roots out of this ground bit. So we'll do a little face. Nice little helmet. And then we'll do a little balaclava sort of thing. Balaclava? No, like what's it called? A buff, is it? No, I can't remember. Too old now. Some little dreads. Plaited and knotted hair all the way through. Yeah, just little, not trying to draw anything perfect, just having a bit of fun. Do a really what were you going to say, man? I have no idea. Really flowy? Maybe. Really flowy shirt and shawl and cape on this character. And sort of wrap it up there. And have the other arm this way. And then this one have hands sort of little thumb sticking out there. Some little wraps and stuff like that. Cool. Okay, that's looking alright. And then sort of roots coming from the ground. Am I still on camera? Look at that. It's exciting. Right, I'm going to do a nice little sort of weird druid's crown. If you're thinking, what's a druid's crown? I did a video about Ayla. That's one of the characters. And one of their special abilities is they could draw from the ground itself. It's actually quite macabre, isn't it? Draw from the Druid's legacy, which is all the bones and stuff like that of previous druids that live underground and give her these abilities. And with that, you can kind of forage anywhere because Ayla's abilities are all around using ingredients, plants, mushrooms, bones, feathers to consume and then use his abilities like magic. So that was the idea of this one. So I guess that's what it's sort of all covered in, all sorts of mushrooms, fungi, and maybe even bones sort of sticking out of it. It's sort of just bringing it all to the surface. So wherever she is, she can gather rather than trying to run around gather mid-fight, because that would be infuriating, I feel like. And then we'll do a little bit more, but we won't put too much because we don't want it to interact with the drawing too much, because it's only a quick sketch, so we don't need too much going on. There we go. Do it like that, and that's the bottom of her dress. That'd be fine. Nice. We got 28. Is it zoomed in? Is it? Can't tell. Hang on, let me have a little click. I think it's the same, right? Yeah. Right, tea time. What should we draw? We could draw another character. Should we do a character little? We'll do a slightly more detailed character from the back, because I really love drawing all the bits and pieces hanging off, and I think that's more fun. And what we could do is more of an organic one, so less mechanical, sort of more, I don't know, 18th century sort of style, I guess. It'll still pretty much be the same, just, all the rips and things of that nature, but I don't know, it would just remove that sort of sci-fi aspect, which I'm not sure if I'm really for it or really against it, but I don't know. We'll figure it out. And it might be because I've been watching Prey lately, which is that Predator film, which I'm sure I've rambled about before on this channel. Apologies, I'm probably just repeating myself after a while. And I really like that film. I just think it's something really special. Maybe that's what the whole idea about bringing it back to more of a sort of feel to the game rather than this sci-fi-ish one. Sci-fi-ish? Sci-fi-ish? Is that the word? Is that the word you're looking for? Maybe. Then, magic feels more easy for me to sort of put into the game itself and, take away sort of all the extra little bits. Plus, I really like the idea that if you're going to heal someone, you would need to use maybe not magic unless you're doing like a magic build, but you would have to use herbs and things of that nature, or really wait and, have some time to meditate and rest, rather than just have like, no offense, but like a healing word or something, which I know is ought to be very helpful, but I don't know, I just kind of like the idea of a healing being quite a special thing. Otherwise, if you just get hurt, heal, crack on with your day. It's not quite like that, is it? Do a little effigy here, do another little pocket of something, and then do the leg there. Is that right? Knee, thigh? Yeah, it's almost right. And do tippy toes as well, as usual, because I like tippy toes. Sort of, you're walking on eggshells in the world itself, Yeah, it's quite cool. Nice cloak. All the way over there. There we go. So they've got the spear. I like to think of it as called a toothpick. It's called the spear gun thing in this game. Don't know why. Just thought it was cool. Little mask. Little protector thing. Right. Let's make a little bit of time and do this. It's a seagull. Seagull needs to chill out. So yeah, I don't know what you think, but maybe we could do a little poll. In the future, I could do 2 images. One of a mechanical half ship offering solitude and safety, and then the other one being some sort of monster. Quite like the idea of that. It just feels like more linear and, I don't know. We have to do a little poll or something. Quite like it being more linear, and it gives more of a like, this is the direction of the game. You're appeasing this monster for as long as you have to, and then when you're ready, or when you think you're ready, you can fight it. But every day that goes on, the creature will also get stronger. So, and I think there'll be some randomness in there as well, kind of like the trait cards we talked about in the previous video about the nightmare creatures. I don't know. We'll figure that out as we get to it, I think. There's no rush, is there? It's not going anywhere. So I'll do a little bit of a strap here, little buckle, and do some cloak. That's kind of seen better days. All the way through there. Put a little bracelet, like bones and stuff, on this little character's arm. Little hairs. There we go. And then fingers. Whoop. So wait, left hand. Hang on. Left hand there. So underneath. Wait, I've confused myself. Oh, it's a terrible finger. Oh, it's another terrible finger. Terrible finger. Excellent. Wait, where'd the thumb be? Oh, I don't know. Anyway, we'll just carry on. Let's not worry too much about the terrible hand. And then lots of little wraps, straps. I really like the idea, and we've talked about this before in another video where every weapon looks like it was made by the individual that uses it. There's nothing really like given out. Everyone just kind of figures out how to make weapons on their own. And this one's a weird like curvy spear gun, but an extra little bit there, and that looks like it will be bone or something. So maybe there's a blade, or I don't know. Might be fun to play with that a bit more in the future. Just the weapons in general in the game, and yeah. A little bit more fur and bits like that. Yeah, we won't worry too much. As long as it's fun, I'm enjoying doing it, I think we're okay. Lots of hair. I didn't really do a mask on this character. Maybe this character doesn't have one. Just seeing the world for what it is. Not worried about the compos mentis. The compos mentis is sort of like the mental armor in the game. So a lot of the characters will wear masks, so your compos mentis will go down a lot slower, but you physically more difficult to see what's in front of you for attacking and exploring, which sounds silly, but quite like the idea that if you're brave enough to take off the mask, you can see the world for what it is, and even though it might be haunting and awful, you'll see it better, and you'll be far more accurate with weapons, and you'll probably get bonuses, but like I said, you're going to see all the monsters and scary stuff. At the moment, that's the storyline, so I don't know if it will stay or not. Bloke down the road is back to chopping wood. Oh, Seagull's back as well. Fantastic, great to see you all. Must have known I was doing a video. Seagull sounds are so funny. Ridiculous. Right. Cool. Right, we're doing a little bag as well. Like this, and little buckle. Yeah, the more I think about it, the more I really like the idea. I did like a little root here, some herbs and stuff like that. I really like the idea of keeping the game more linear, having it as a monster that you're sort of being protected, as it were, but not really. And I thought of a tagline for the game, and I was really proud of it. And in my very sleepiness the other day, and you are not the heroes of this story, you are the bait. And I guess it makes sense. I've always referred to them as lures, so you're going off and you're bringing stuff back to the half ship either way. But yeah, in this one, it would be far more accurate. You are being sent off to, in a way, like a fishing line. I guess that's why you call it a lure. And you got to bring back everything you're being asked for. And there could be like a list of things. So you're not just coming and going. You sort of take off the list as you go along, and there'll be storage as well. So you might have to upgrade and make a new bag so you can carry more stuff. So you don't have to keep coming back to half ship to drop off things. And another way to get around that is you could find homunculi, little people, to bring stuff back for you. But then there'll be more food you would have to bring to appease them as well. There's lots of little things we could do to make the game a bit more user-friendly, and I think that's one of my big things. Is I really want the game to feel user-friendly. I don't want really annoying little bits. I know there should be some bits that just cause a little bit of aggravation because it's meant to be, it's not meant to be a walk in the park, but it certainly isn't meant to be something that pushes players away. And I found myself in a few times playing video games or board games where there's a certain mechanic that just, it causes more faff than needed. And I mean, more often than not, I either remove the rule or I will tweak it ever so slightly. So it's not saying I know anything more about games than anyone. I certainly don't have a clue. But I know the things that I enjoy and I know the things I don't. I think I'm just a grumpy old man in that aspect. I'm like, no, I won't do it. No. Ridiculous. Oh, I forgot to draw the little effigy person. Do a little body. And do a little arm. And it's just meant to look like it's made out of sticks because it is. And he's a little 5-legged effigy. Maybe it gives you more movement. Maybe during a certain time of the day you get more movement or something. I don't know, I'm just making up as I go along. And then this one will wrap around the leg. And then we'll do another little bag here, I think. And the strap for the bag there. Oh, okay, cool. Another little bag here. That's fine, that looks alright to me. There we go. And then I'm going to do another little bracelet on the ankle. I think that's cool. And nice ripped trousers, ripped jeans. Has some old school Levi's there. There we go. Cool. So yeah, still working on the world of the game, but I think keeping in sort of UK, Scotland, Wales. I think there's some beautiful areas like the moors and highlands. Could base a lot of the game on. Yeah, I think that's quite a cool idea. I guess, what was that? Oh my goodness. The birds have come. What was I talking about? No idea. Oh, yeah. Yeah, keep it in the UK, I think. Only because I know it better than anywhere else. Because I live here. That makes sense. Yeah. So yeah, that's my little plan at the moment. I think the next video we'll do something about the 2 different types of the half ships. And we'll do a little list as well, like fors and against. I think that's a good way of going about it. And we can kind of have a think about what we want from the game. Because a lot of this stuff will just fit in nicely, I think. I mean, if we go for the ship being a monster, or rather not even a ship, just a monster that you're appeasing, I mean, the nightmare and its systems are already in place. All the traits, mechanics, its reactions, how it moves in the world, when it becomes enraged, how it's affected, how it works with ranged attacks or ranged, players or melee players that have a lot of armor or stuff like that. Well, I think so anyway, until someone breaks it. But, yeah. It's all going. That would work, I think. Okay, the spear's bizarre, it's unbelievable. And what else can we do? I think that looks fine, actually. I'm happy with that. Just do a little bit of shading throughout. I don't know what it is about this light. I really like this light, but after a while my eyes go all like fuzzy. So now I'm going to draw kind of a bit. Probably missing a lot of lines. Getting some fuzziness now. Right, and then another little bit here. It's in the background. Cool. Yeah, so this is my little journey making a board game. Just want to say a huge thanks to everyone that supports and comments on the channel and just likes, subscribes. It's huge, huge help. Massive. Every single one of you. To this day, every time we get a new subscriber, we still shout, "New subscriber!" Don't think that will ever go. Yeah, thank you so much to patrons and my old Druid Biscuit Party patron for all your support, and yeah, just everyone that gets in touch. Yeah, so don't be afraid to comment, have a little chat, tell me what you're drawing, what you're making these days, or which bits of what I'm rambling on about you kind of dig, and which bits you think are crap. It's good to know. Anyway, you all take care and have a great day. It is in focus, right? Right. God, I hope so. Oh, lost my voice. God, I hope so. Right, anyway, you all take care. Bye.